Today is April 30th. Boone joins the show. Katie Sharp gives us the sharpest stats, and we talk Yanks.
Talking Yanks with old John Boy, and Jake.
You're pointing.
Recaps,
Boing.
score, weekly awards, stat lines, theme, and hot takes. Get your Yankees news from these two fine dudes. It's time for Talking Yanks. Talking Yanks with old John Boy, and Jake. Talking Yanks with old John Boy, and Jake.
Hello, and welcome to Talkin' Yanks, brought to you by SeatGeek. My name is Jimmy. His name is Jake. Producer BBD joins us. As always, joins us. He produces the show. And we've got a desk full of frogs, a spinning globe, some sunglasses, mints, 2 Dunkin' coffees, 2 water cups on the table. Jake, how do you do?
James, Davis, everyone joining us. I'm doing okay. Another Yankees shutout last night, which
Most by a Yankee team since 1977.
84 Yogi managing. Yeah, I don't know. That's these Yankees highs are highs. I think there's been a lot of I think you have to self-talk to yourself a lot with these Yankees, and I think that's kind of what a lot of people do with our program. But yeah, again, we're getting some questions ready for Boone, and you see another shutout last night, and Grayson Rodriguez and his 2 starts against the Yanks, he's yet to give up a run. But I went to look at all the team stats today, and everything's good.
Yeah, I know. All the batting averages are good. Rodriguez, another split change pitcher. I know they've gotten Gossman this year, but he's having a down year. But just a reminder, those are the pitchers. That is the arsenal that gets this team. And he was nasty with his split changeup. The down and away to Judge, you kind of don't see. Usually it's down and in. I was kind of surprised but he just spotted it. So I don't know. I would like them to hit that pitch, but kind of when I saw him throwing that and Girardi was talking about it, I was like, damn it. Yeah. This is the pitch. They don't hit that well.
Yeah. And I don't know. Baltimore was up for it. They came up after wrestling those same Oakland A's that gave us a little trouble last week. And, yeah, I don't know. A couple years ago, does that Oswaldo ball get out and we're talking about Buenos Cantos? I don't know. They moved.
I think it was only 6 other parks. It would have been a homer.
Right. I'm saying Old Camden, though, because it used to be shallow. So
yeah.
They moved back that fence. And
the past is the past.
The past is the past, and the last is the last. Aaron Boyne coming up. Your thoughts?
Boyne. Here we go. Let's talk to him. Welcome back to another Bantering with Boone. Booney, thanks for joining us from Baltimore. How's it going?
Good. I got my got the hardwood behind me.
It looks nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of my setup today. I mean, if you could see it in my room right now.
Is that an actual wall? Because your shadow's on it.
Yeah, it's a wall. Yeah.
I'm curious to see why it's decorated like that.
It's from the old Mecca in Milwaukee.
Oh. How do you like the new dimensions there in Baltimore?
They're not new.
Well, new in context of the stadium, which is old.
Yeah, it's like 3 years old.
Does it still pain you?
Huh?
Does it still pain you to see a ball die? I know eventually we all have to get over it, but it's still a little bit man.
You're definitely used to it now. So, it seems a bit extreme is all.
God, I just had the flashback of that Mike Talkman sick home run robbery. That's like my last old Camden Yards memory. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sick catch.
This is a general question, baseball general question to start off since we're talking on it. I like that ballparks can change their dimensions. I think there should be parameters around how many times you can do it. Like once you do it, you're set for 5 years or X amount of years. So you can't be changing it every year.
Based on your personnel. Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I do like the uniqueness of. I mean, that's part of baseball. Is the ballpark and the uniqueness of it. So I think that's good. I just think, here they probably went a little extreme, especially because So that's all. It feels like it should have been a little more subtle. I mean, I get it from a standpoint of a team, like, okay, we're going to set this up and then kind of build our team accordingly. That's smart, but MLB plays a role too.
Well, yeah, I like the distance, but then the height. I like being able to rob homers.
That's actually what we're talking about, and they made the height. So whatever. I don't want to. You guys asked me the question. I don't want to make it look like I'm complaining about the. Okay.
We'll make sure. We'll make sure. Yeah, we'll make sure all the context is in there if we post a clip about it. Yeah, I'm complaining, but I like that they made the change. I just wish that they could still rob home runs. Anyway.
Yeah, good point.
Let's do a quick because I don't think there is an answer, but I want to see what you have on it. We've seen a little feast and famine from the boys lately. We see 2 15 burgers get put up on the board. That's pretty awesome. But I think also I forget what the new stat is. It's like the most shutouts this early in the season since '84. Like, is there anything you can do to combat that? Is it like maybe we need to play a little small ball early or something? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it's a little bit. I don't think it's something that, especially with this group, that will continue like at that pace. Like, I don't think we're going to get shut out on this kind of level. And I think it's important to distinguish between, like, where we were offensively at times last year compared to what we are now, even on a night when we get shut out. Like last night, we struck out three times in the game and probably had a dozen base runners and like didn't get a big hit. I mean, and hit some balls on the screws. Like, they made a couple really good plays. Like, I loved Anthony's at bat where Westberg made the diving play on him. I thought AJ just missed a couple to right field there in his last 2 at bats. Like I thought a lot of things last night. We had the right kind of at bats. We just didn't get the big hit, and they kept us in the ballpark. So that's different than where at times, like say last year, where we might have scored 1 or 2 runs where we were shut down. That didn't feel like the case last night. We didn't break through, and that's frustrating but at the same time, like, I feel like throughout the lineup, we're giving ourselves a chance, night in and night out. So hopefully, over the long haul, those shutouts go away a little bit.
You have Verdugo, you make the switch him and Rizzo in the lineup. It pays off right away. It's a 3-run homer in his first at bat in the cleanup spot. I know he's on paternity leave right now. Do we have a return date for him? Is that known or not known, or I don't know how it works? So.
Probably Thursday or Friday, I think. I haven't talked to him yet today, so we'll just stay in communication and see when he's able to get back.
And when he returns, do you think he slots back into the cleanup spot?
Yes.
Okay. Is that a conversation you have with Rizzo at all, or Verdugo? Because for Riz, he's a veteran. He's been up there to go down to 6.
I gave Riz a heads up the night before that I was going to switch the 2. Now against lefties, I'll still probably be G in the 4-hole. That's kind of my plan. But I gave Riz a heads up that I was going to do it going in, and then he went about 7 for 8 the next 2 days in that 6-hole. So he was kind of digging the 6-hole. So yeah.
Is there any thought to, with the batting order, how you stack the righties versus lefties, to stacking lefties at all? I know you're not going to slide. You're going to keep Judge there. Like Verdugo 4, Rizzo 5, Stanton 6.
No. I mean, I guess it's possible in a one-off. But no, I because, with Riz and Verdugo, those aren't going to be guys that I'm going to pinch hit for, obviously. So if a team has a particular lefty, where they can come into a game, a matchup lefty that's a heavy split, that even though Doogie and Rizzo handle them fine, like, it's still not something you want to just set up for the other team and then possibly have the ability now, they got out of the inning there. Now I can go to my righty against Giancarlo or a Glaber. I'd rather, at least if you're going to shoot that lefty, you got to go through a Giancarlo or a Glaber, in a big spot too.
because last week we talked and brought up some lineup stuff, and you did state, and I don't disagree that, like, hey, just because you change the lineup doesn't mean things change. But you end up pushing the button. Like, was there a hump that broke the camel's back, or what made you do it?
I don't know. I just felt like, man, I like Doogie and, some of the athleticism there in the middle and just his kind of bat to ball. And I feel like he was really getting it going there for a couple weeks to where, man, behind our big boys that are going to be, pitched carefully and typically on base, like there are going to be some just run scoring opportunities. And I actually like him behind Soto and Judge there. And then you still get the same kind of presence, with the length of the lineup with G and Rizzo and Torres behind them. So yeah, it was just kind of a feeling, really.
Going back to the game 1 in Milwaukee, the extra inning game, I think we respect and understand we will never know like exactly who's available, unavailable, for what reasons in the bullpen. And we find out after the game that Hamilton wasn't available for you, only emergency. And when you say emergency, I'm guessing you mean like you've used every pitcher and the game is still continuing?
Yeah, kind of like before we'd use a position player in extra innings.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. And then Weaver, is the rule there? Like, is there a number? He threw 32 games before. So if a pitcher throws 30, is that around where we should expect them to get 2 days off afterwards?
Not necessarily. Every guy's a little bit different, and then their recovery's a little bit different each time, frankly. Sometimes, it's a 2-up thing. Sometimes a guy's just at a point in the season where, he may go throw 1 inning and 9 pitches, but for whatever reason doesn't recover great the next day. Like those things pop up too. So that's all. I think the one thing in looking back at that game where, I wasn't going to go a full 2 innings with Clay and sending him back out there. And then all of a sudden, if he's in a, 18, 20 pitch thing and there's a runner on, it's like, I'm probably not going to go get him for the last out. So now all of a sudden I'm using my closer who's pitched a lot from a volume standpoint in a 2 inning scenario, and with a runner on second too. And it's like, if he, if they send that runner around, which is possible, then I'm down my closer for a couple days beyond that. And I've, in an April game where my guy's on a 80 game pace already, I'm kind of pushing the envelope with them. I think the place where I wish I would have maybe done it different is I maybe would have sent Ferguson back out for the 9th inning because we're 9-1-2. So once we got to the 9-1-2, I knew I wanted Clay to pitch in that inning because he was going to get Contreras, and then if anyone got on, Adames and Reese Hoskins are sitting there, and I want Clay facing those guys. So I probably should have sent Fergie back out for a hitter or 2, and maybe you steal an out with the bottom of the order, and then I could go Clay, and then I would have felt better about sending them back out in a 10th inning scenario. So that's probably where I should have done it differently.
What about even Santana? Like, he gets the 2 outs. Could you have rolled him? It would have been Perkins.
No, because Santana, I really wanted to stay away from that day, but I kind of needed him because Hamilton was down that day. And Santana was like in a 3 out of 4, 4 out of 6 where I used him a lot, but I knew with Hamilton down in a close game, I needed him for that righty spot. So I was only going to bring him up and in to finish an inning if that area of the lineup lined up. So that's why I did that there.
So do you think Clay for 2 could be in play this year? Like what does this kind of the perfect storm have to be there? Like maybe around an off day or like a light week?
I think those will be in play in big. Now a full 2, I mean, it'd have to be a pretty, certain point of the season.
Okay.
But like last night, with him, we were a little short last night too, with just wanting to get a couple guys that one extra day or whatever, or actually a few guys being down, like we're going to use Clay pretty aggressively last night, and obviously bringing them in down one there with runners on. That was a situation where, had we got back into the game, it was going to be a 4-out situation, two up situation. So just, it depends on where you are in the season, what a guy's done, who you have available on a given night, who you kind of want to try to stay away from, who you think could use a day, those kind of things. It's kind of different every day.
I understand not using Clay over the course of 2 innings, especially with all the injuries, but because that's something that I've been somewhat weary of or like looking into with how you guys use the bullpen, because you're always amongst the leader of using relievers over multiple innings. Like right now you have done that more than anyone else in the league. Last year I think you were 4th, and it's kind of been your style in the bullpen is to spread it out over 2 innings and do the up down. Yep. So it was interesting to hear you didn't want to do that with Clay and get stuck, because it was the first time I felt a sense of, I thought that was part of like what you like doing.
Yeah, not so much with Clay. Like Clay, I view as our closer now. And again, 4 outs is different. There's going to be games where, we're in trouble there in the 8th, and I got their best guy coming up or something with the game on the line. That's going to be Clay in some 4-out situations, especially if he's had a day or whatever the case may be.
Staying on that game, I wanted to know if you are aware of this, and I just like genuinely a question. Extra innings games, since the new rules with the Manfred Man or the Ghost Runner, the Yankees are the best team in extra innings when you guys are the home team out of all 30 teams. You have the best record. You have the worst when you're the road team. And I'm curious.
And I saw something I didn't know that actually, but I did see something the other day where the road team, since it's been incorporated, has actually won more games. So that's even contradictory too.
So, some teams have accepted that it's 2 different strategies, I think. And if you're the away team, it's really a sack bunt, sack fly competition, because that one run puts so much pressure on the other team where now they don't want to give away an out to tie the game. They want their best shot to score 2. So is there any thoughts there like about after hearing the stats? Lean
towards when we're on the road to play for the probably the less inclined to bunt or something. Now when you're the home team, obviously depending on what happened, you're going to be more aggressive with the bunt in that situation. But it also depends on the player, and who you have coming up, what the matchup is. Sometimes we may do it like we're going to be super aggressive with the bunt, meaning I want you to go up there and we're bunting for a hit, as opposed to, full on sacrificing. So I'm a little less inclined to do it on the road personally, but
is that because you want multiple runs?
Yeah, but it's not even that I'm saying I don't want the one. I mean, I'm taking 3 shots at the one, and it may be a situation where I'm saying to a guy, all right, we're not bunting here, but I want you thinking the other way, and we're going to take a shot swinging the bat, but also worst case scenario, we're moving the runner over as well.
Do you know how many times, could you guess how many times you've bunted in the top?
In the top? How many games have we had?
Ooh, I can find that out. Team and game. Two times.
2?
2, yeah.
How about at home?
That's interesting. I can find that out.
So the one that people are talking about, and again, it's a case of fans getting to have perfect vision in hindsight, but Stanton leads off the extras with the double, and then it's Volpe, Soto, Judge. Some people were looking for the Volpe bunt there, and it doesn't come. And I mean, maybe you just addressed it because Volpe has been going the other way a lot, that you're playing for the big inning there.
Or what did Volpe do, too, in that? What?
Volpe struck out looking.
Yeah, if you watch the at-bat, he was taking his shots the other way. So that's a situation. Yeah, I'm not going to do that there. I'm taking my shot with Volpe, Soto, Judge there.
Okay.
I'm taking my shot that we can push that across, or better yet, hopefully, score a couple. But, there you get into a situation where, let's say you bunt Volpe, which, by the way, doesn't mean the runner automatically gets to third. We always, that's where our mind goes. So we're giving up an out to move that guy with a good hitter. And now all of a sudden you get in a situation where if you get a guy out, now you're in a situation where you can walk someone to get to, you start having more of an ability to pitch around potentially a Soto or a Judge. So, yeah, I wouldn't do it there personally. Like, that may be a situation where, Volpe aggressively, push bunts over there, trying for a hit, or may do that. Or I know in that at bat, he was thinking the other way and took a couple shots the other way. We didn't get it done, but that's part of it too. Like, I don't have any second guess of that.
4 sack bunts as a home team.
4.
Yep.
Okay.
IKF, Glaber, and Gardy.
And probably some more attempts.
Yeah,
So,
that's the hard thing. I can't
yeah.
pull up failed attempts. I can only pull up successful ones.
Right.
So
which goes into it too. Like, just because you're saying I'm bunting doesn't mean we scored the run. Like, you still got to succeed in the bunt and getting them over, and then you got to succeed with one out and getting them in, which isn't an automatic. So,
all right, another question, because I'm curious. I'm curious to ask, like, all managers if they treat home and away different in extra innings, because it's a weird rule now. So I'm not trying to come at you in there. I'm just interested. And then the other thing I'm interested in is the running on contact automatically, which not just you and the Yankees do, but all of baseball now has kind of done this. And in your post game, you say it's a 50-50 shot. If I were to find
What's
stats
automatically? What
on contact,
you said running on contact automatically. What is
runners
that?
on, well, when you have a runner on third, and as soon as the contact is made, running home.
Yeah, but saying we do it automatically, what do you mean?
Well, not automatically. I'm saying running on contact. I just threw it automatically. It was doubling up the running.
All right,
Like automatically on contact, not every time, because you guys don't do it every time. But when you do it, you said it's a 50-50 shot. Do you think personnel goes into that at all? Like, I was looking back at it, and the last couple years, it's been 38% time work and the other's not. Like, if the odds get to 40-60, 30-60, does that change your mind at all? Because it might not.
With one out, I mean, it's, no, not really. I mean, with one out, no. And, you're going to look, if they hit a ground, it's amazing how many people ask me the question too every time, because if you're going on contact and they hit a ball right to someone, if they play catch, you're going to be out. And it looks like, oh, why didn't you just wait for it to, well, because if you wait for it, the ball that happens a lot, like a chop ball to a guy's left where you're going to be safe, or whatever the case may be, you're going on contact. So like a line drive, you're probably going to be out unless you somehow are able to scramble back. But then you're talking about 2 outs with call it a 250 hitter on deck. Like, you're going to take that chance, when it's a big run. And if you're dead to rights, let's say it's that one bullet right to someone, throwing home, you're out by 10 feet. Hopefully that's a situation where you're able to get in a rundown and get the guy in a scoring position. So you're going to take that trade too. So just getting thrown out at the plate in exchange for forcing them to make a play and getting a guy potentially to second, you're going to take those odds. Like, I know it's like, oh man, he ran right into the out, but got to play the game.
I understand that. I mean, I pulled up all the data. Like the Dodgers are awful at it, to be honest. They get thrown out 80% of the time. The Diamondbacks in the last couple of years have scored every time and only gotten out once. So
you're a little at mercy of the play unfolding, but you're going to take the chance because it beats standing there. And there's been a couple times where, not necessarily in that game-winning, game-ending situation where, we haven't gone on contact, and the ball, had we gone on contact, would probably end up scoring. And then you're like holding your hat a little bit, and all because you're saying, let me take a chance with the 250 on deck.
Well, my question would be then, on a human level, was this hard for you to change? Did you have to change? Because this is a lot of fans. My age, you didn't grow up seeing this a lot or being taught it. You were taught wait till it clears the infield, then run. As a player, when you were playing, did your team do this as much, or did you have to be convinced of stats and you're like, okay, yeah, I get it, I see it now?
No, but there's certain things then take second and third, one out. Why wouldn't you pretty much always go in that situation?
Yeah, that situation you should always go. Yeah.
Well, I think that situation happened in the 2000 World Series, which one that really stands out to me. Game was it game 2 of the game 1 or 2 of the World Series, where the Yankees have the infield in the 9th, I believe, and it's one out. I believe the Mets are second and third. Somebody hits the chopper to second base, to the right of second base, and they weren't going on contact, and then the Yankees won in extra innings. If they're going on contact, which second and third, one out, I'm like, how are you not going on contact? Because you force them to make a play at the very worst, and then your first and third, 2 outs was still the winning run on third, worst case. And I always looked at that play and was like, even back then, and I was like, man, that seems a little odd.
Timo Perez hit that.
Timo Perez hit it like a slow chopper to the right of the second baseman, where if they're going, he walks home, and they weren't. And then I think O'Neill might have got it. Or who walked him off that game? Is that game 2?
Game one, Vizcaíno walked him off.
Yeah, Vizcaíno walked him off. And that's one I've always and I watched the broadcast, and they don't even bring it up.
That's interesting to know, because I always want to know how much of this is, you grew up baseball family, grandpa managed, how much of the stuff you're doing would your dad and grandpa would have to be really convinced of?
Probably in line. I think that's something probably that's in line.
Okay.
Yeah.
The big fella yesterday, first start in left field.
Yeah. It's a big left field.
It's a big left field. It's a big man. When does that conversation happen?
Well, obviously spring training. Before spring training, there's some scenarios, and I mean, Aaron's been so good at to have your superstar guy just be willing to, he's just. I mean, I told him the night before. I told him when we were in Milwaukee, I'm like, there may be a left field day coming. I said, we got, Doogie's probably going on paternity. He's like, yeah, great, no problem. So I thought he moved well out there. Didn't have any issues. So that's a conversation that obviously started in the off season. There may be some days out there. What do you think? And then when it becomes a reality, give him that heads up. I did in spring training with him where I was going to play him 2 days in a row out there and kind of have him spend his work week, 3 or 4 days in a row of just getting some left field reps. So he's what's one of the things that's great about Aaron is he's so fundamentally sound out there. as an outfielder, like his fundamentals are so good that sets him up to be successful wherever we put him. Just with how he moves, how he turns, just fundamentally really good.
Are you allowing yourself to think about Dominguez returning, starting rehab, and having him back in the clubhouse? I'm not, so you can say no.
Yeah. I mean, I follow him on the injury report every day, and excited that, really his entire since surgery, it's kind of really gone as planned, and, hasn't had the hiccups or whatever. So he's been in a good spot. And I mean, it's exciting because I feel like what I believe the kind of player he is. I know, there's some excitement to that of what that could mean for us in the second half, but it's still a ways off. So, just want him to continue to prepare to get ready for his season.
Is there a chance where he's healthy, he's gotten enough, at bats to replicate a spring training, and there's not room, so it's just a little bit of a waiting game, and he stays?
I don't know. I mean, that's
all right. You don't have to. I was fishing.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna fish. I'm gonna fish one time. Jimmy sent his rod out there. What's up with DJ? Like, is there anything we don't know? Like
No.
Jim's smoke alarm went off first. He's like, wait, the doctor's not into it, but DJ's gonna try to play, and now I don't know. We're in a weird spot.
Yeah. No, other than he just did something to irritate it enough to where, had a little bit of pain in there. He didn't really even feel like the swing was anything different, but, so he got some swelling in there. So we got to calm that down. The reality is when his symptoms are good, he's ready to go. I mean, that's where it's at so he's doing pretty well. I know he had a good day yesterday. We're probably a couple days away from that week standpoint where we'll reevaluate, where hopefully we can start ramping up baseball activities again. But we're going to listen to the foot, and he's very much on board with that too.
And what about Birdie? He went down and played some games. Is the plan to get him back for the homestand?
Yeah. John, that'd be the hope. I think he's playing today again in Somerset. So just taking it day by day, and hopefully he'll be back at some point this week, but we'll see.
All right. Is Judge out and left again today?
Yes.
Same lineup?
Almost. I flipped G and Riz.
Okay.
G and Riz, and then so I flipped Wells and Torres then.
Nice to see Wells get some results of late.
Yeah, although he turned into a fielder's choice last night on one of his hits, unfortunately. But he's, I mean, I think he's hit 5 balls to the wall that have been caught.
Yeah.
So I do feel like he's having good at bats. Trevi's been having good at bats too. So that's been good but I think we're hopefully starting to see Austin get settled and comfortable, and really feel like, he can impact us offensively too. So hopefully start getting more and more results, because I do feel like the at-bats are getting better and better.
Yeah, the catching tandem the last 14 games or 2 weeks or so has actually, Trevor's doing more of the lifting results-wise, but the numbers are good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of changed calls, real quick, what happened with that Rodon Rizzo one? And do you guys appeal? Do you go to Rizzo and ask, hey, they took the error away, but that added 2 earned runs to Rodon's line? Because I know there's an appeals committee for the players.
When was this? I'm sorry.
So Rodon's
early.
Third start, a ball that it's short hopped Rizzo. They originally gave Rizzo an error. And then an earned run scored after. It was a really weird way that the earned run scored. Later on, they changed it to not an error on Rizzo, which took Rodon's ERA at the time from a 2-something to a 3.6.
Well, it couldn't have been a hit, though. Could it have?
Yeah, I think they flipped it to a hit.
Change it from an error.
Yeah,
to a hit,
I think
and
Rizzo
the run went
whiffed
from
it.
earned to
Yeah, it was short.
to earned.
Rizzo was playing in, and it was a one hopper. So they,
It was in Arizona.
or was it against like the Blue Jays?
I want to say
I don't know.
I think it was at home.
I know there's an appeals process that goes through players and their agents, but it's sometimes not even on, it could be the other player, whoever hit the ball for Toronto.
just wanted it.
Marlins. There's a Jazz Chisholm. They changed it to a single instead of an E3.
Oh, so I don't know. I'm guessing that appeals probably came from Jazz Chisholm and them.
Yeah, I don't even know if Jazz appealed. I think the scoring changer changed it.
Or a score changes.
Which that would leave it open for Rodon to appeal.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, you watch the scoring decisions sometimes on the road, and they some kind of home cooking. They don't really get that with scores at Yankee Stadium. I mean, I think it's more real and honest at Yankee Stadium. But you go on the road some of these places, and some of the non-airs they'll give to some of their guys, or the hits they'll give to some of their guys. It's like, come on, man.
Well, errors just don't exist anymore. As a former infielder, does that like you ever be like, hey, what the hell? If the ball's hit 90 miles per hour faster, doesn't matter if it's a one hopper right to the dude's chest. They just rule it a hit.
I disagree a little bit with that, but
that was hyperbole. But they do that a lot
on the road. On the road, definitely they're handing out stuff that's home beneficial, which kind of different every place, which is a little odd.
Okay. Well, if they can still appeal it, I just think Rodon should, because then his ERA would go from 2.48 to 1.96. As long as Riz is fine taking that error, gets Rodon's ERA way down.
Yeah.
Pass it along. Let Carlos
All
know.
right.
I got his back. All right.
Thanks,
Boone. Appreciate you.
All right. Take care.
See ya. That bantering with Boone was brought to you by DraftKings, because baseball season is heating up with the weather. DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps, is giving new customers a swing at turning $5 into $200 instantly in bonus bets with any baseball bet. DraftKings also has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code YANKS. New customers bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's code YANKS. Only at DraftKings. The crown is Jake's. A little bit of a longer banter session with Booney today. I was only going to do one of those topics, but then I figured it might not come up again. And he was being...
You were feeling it. He was open today.
He was cordial. He was answering and having conversations about the stuff. So I was like, let's just go. But it was good. I mean, it's weird that they have different rules for Clay than the rest of the bullpen, because I get it in a sense he's your closer, but like everyone gets hurt and you're doing a certain thing, not doing multiple innings to save a guy from getting hurt. Everyone else gets hurt and you do it. So if so facto, do it less with the other guys and they might stay around more, would be like my logic of thinking.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, Clay right now is the only guy.
Yeah, but over the course of the last 3 years,
Sure.
they do multiple innings.
Yeah, I would have thrown Clay out there for the second inning, because if you're gonna reference the appearances, then yeah, like he already appeared in that game. That 10 pitches. I don't know. I see some of the logic, and it's April, and they think they have a good Yankees team this year, and they do. But yeah, I mean, the bigger thing for me is like this is something that Clay can do and should be able to do, and the last time they try to do it is in the postseason, and that's when they try to push the button. So if it's something you're willing to do in the postseason, you should be willing to do it in the regular season sometimes.
I would say do it in September to get them going.
I think they did do it in September.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I would ramp it up in September so you get there.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't like that. I would do it. I would have it all year.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I
just wouldn't press that button.
I think multiple innings is bad, and the Yankees don't.
They now use it
except
as a way to save
with-
guys.
with Clay. So it's weird to be like, I got to keep him healthy. I'm not going to do that. It's like, well, you do that with everyone else.
They
and
think
everyone
with
gets hurt.
King, Hamilton, Loizaga ways to keep them healthy. King's the only one that's kind of survived that.
Yeah. They have the most right now, but the bullpen is not good right now. Well, it's not. They're just mixing and matching like crazy. So, and then the contact play, no real discussion there. I mean, he says it's with personnel, but Stan's been sent, Rizzo's been sent, everyone's been sent.
Yeah, I think I did like the point because it was something I hadn't run through yet, that it's less the players on the field and it's who's coming up next.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was a pretty good counter.
I disagree with the not bunting Volpe with no outs. I understand he said they're going to pitch around Soto and Judge. Okay.
Right.
More guys on base.
That's your chance for the big inning.
Then you get more guys on base, big inning.
Yeah.
So with the runner on second, Volpe up, who should be able to bunt for a hit, like he said.
Right.
Like push one to second, see what you can do. Or pass the pitcher or down the line.
Yeah.
But at least he flat out said, I'm not, like nice to know his brain on it, where he stands. Not something he wants to do. So that was good. Good stuff.
Anything else there?
No, I will say, before we throw it to this section of Sharp Stats, I have an answer for you to a question that will come up later. It's 5.4 feet. Chew on that. All right, here you go. Queen of Stats.
Hey guys, it's the Queen of Stats, and I am back. This week, we're going to talk about Alex Verdugo and his defense. Yeah, you guys touched on it a little bit in the recap episode this weekend, but I just want to put some numbers into what we're seeing with our eyes and how much the Yankees' left field defense has improved this year compared to last year. So there's two overall metrics that I like to look at. One is StatCast, it's outs above average. The other is Fangraphs defensive runs saved.
I like that.
So this year, Verdugo has 2 outs above average, which is tied for 5th among left fielders, and he has 3 defensive runs saved, which is tied for 3rd among left fielders. Now, to put that into perspective, Yankee left fielders as a position group have not had a positive value in either of those metrics since 2019. In fact, from 2020 to 23, Yankee left fielders, they ranked 23rd in outs above average and 24th in defensive runs saved. So yeah, it was pretty bad. Now breaking it down a little bit, StatCast has a measure called catch probability. And what you can do is you can compare what the actual catch probability is to what the expected catch probability is based on the type of batted ball, how hard it was hit and the direction and everything like that. So this year, so far, his success rate, Verdugo's success rate, has been 3% better than what was expected. Last year, our left fielders had a 2% worse success rate than expected. Another thing I like to look at with catch probability is, are you making the, sort of medium hard, medium easy to routine plays? So that's anything basically with a catch probability of at least 76%. He has made every single play with a catch probability of at least 76%. That's very good. Last year, we converted only 89% of those plays. That's not so good. You should be converting those at a very, very high percentage, close to 100%. Another thing from last year, and I want them to look at holding runners, and you can find this on Baseball Reference. So this year, he has held 79% of runners that had the opportunity to advance on a flyout or a base hit, meaning they didn't advance at all. Last year, that rate was just 63%. That's pretty bad. And one last thing, they were terrible last year with their range. They lost negative 7-1 runs via range, which was 29th in Major League Baseball. This year already, Verdugo has added 1.2 runs to his defensive value via range. So overall, terrific improvement, and let's hope that we can keep this up, Verdugo in left field.
Thank you very much, Katie. The eye test is right. Verdugo is playing a good left field, and all the left fielders in between him and Brett Gardner stunk.
Pretty much. I mean, a lot of them weren't classically trained outfielders, which was a chunk of the problem. And Sharp Stats is brought to you by our merch store, shop.johnboymedia.com. The hat James is wearing, the shirt I am wearing, the hoodie James is wearing, BBD's worn underoos. Click around the site. you might find them. Go get a shirt. Or get a dog shirt. Verdugo's kind of all about that life. The defense has more than passed the eye test. I think going back, there was... remember that first Houston series? He had a torture game where it's just like every ball was seemingly just out of reach, and it was kind of one of those, hey, we're early and back in baseball season. I don't know. Are our eyes deceiving us? Like, should we be expecting more? Should we not? Since then, he's passed every test, and I like what Katie Sharp was saying with the 76% catch probability plays. He's making every one of those, which, quick Jake math, that would mean the average left fielder would make 3 out of 4 of those, and he's making 4 out of 4 of those.
Ooh, and last year they made 3 out of 4. Last year they made less. What's the Jake math on that?
They
8.9.
They made
10.
9 out of 10, which again, not as good. Not as good. And those are kind of routine-ish catches. Like, Katie didn't really get into the high level difficulty stuff, which it feels like Verdugo has some of that in his bag. Where, other guys didn't even have an opportunity at those kind of plays. Not to name names, but whether it's a Willie Calhoun or a Franchi Cordero or whoever ended up in left field last year, those high level plays weren't even on the board.
I'm trying to find out, and I know that I can do this on StatCast, but I don't know how. Who played majority of the reps in center field last year for the Yankees? Is that a trick question? Because it was Judge, IKF,
Judge and
Bader.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Bader early on, a lot of Judge.
I think Bader officially played the most.
Well, I was trying to see. I don't know how to find this. Maybe, sorry, we'll stop trying to. Because Verdugo if the whole Yankees outfield is shifted right now, because Soto's the weak link, and
who hasn't been weak, by the way.
Hasn't been, but of the three, where last year was when Judge played center, was he shifted left to help out with left field? Like, has the range overall improved? Because right field's small anyway. So, or is there anything to there? With Verdugo being able to go get it in both sides, does that alter the center fielder? That's my question. I don't know if there's an answer. It could be no.
Yeah.
But that's just my general question of does this affect anyone else's defense?
It's got to be tough to compare to last year because Bader, when he was out there, I mean, he's a special.
Yeah, he can go get it.
He's out there to defend.
Yeah.
Anything he does offensively is a bonus. And I wonder if the Yankees even think of defense like that. Like, in my head, that sounds pretty almost old school baseball mentality. Not saying it's wrong, because I think it makes sense, but I think they probably play straight to the heat map of each hitter and don't worry about neighboring defenders, I would guess. But yeah, I think it's Alex Verdugo. It's been kind of funny watching.
Who played majority of reps in the left field last year?
Oh God. McKinney get the most?
That's.
I think Oswaldo got the most starts. IKF was second in left field and center field. McKinney was one behind him for left field starts.
I'm sorry I asked.
Infielder, quadruple A outfielder.
Everson Pereira's fourth. He's classically trained.
Yeah, it's almost like we got to
Jake
stop.
Bauer's fifth.
We got to stop comparing.
Can't compare anything to last year.
Did you see the RBI
good.
number that Hoke put out there? Judge has driven in Soto 6 times this year, and that's more than he drove in any teammate last year.
Checks out, unfortunately. I do, while we're on Verdugo, because I've seen some interesting fodder. I've seen some interesting fodder.
You've seen some interesting fodder.
What is that?
No, it's just...
If I heard someone talk like that, I would be, mad.
You've seen...
And that's what I said.
You've seen some interesting fodder.
We posted, because I believe you gave him Pride of the Yankees, and our social team clipped that and posted that.
I did.
And there's still a lot of Yankees fans that I think they've just got a little, still anti-Red Sox with Verdugo. that they're like, this guy's not that good, or maybe they have receipts from the offseason that they thought Verdugo wasn't going to be the guy. And I don't know if he's going to keep the 130 OPS plus. Like he's only had 1 year in kind of in that range, and that's going back to 2020, 2019. But like we talked about, his offensive profile, I don't think you can fully compare it to what his time with the Red Sox was, which landed around league average. But with his contact ability, I don't think you can measure pure OPS because he's a different style hitter than that. And like we talked about, his final month last year when the Red Sox season quit, tanked all of his numbers significantly. So I think the fact that he's still 27. He turns 28 May 15th, so get ready for that. About 2 weeks till a birthday. But this is a player in his prime with a hit tool, with shifting now out. I don't know if he ever used to be a shift guy, but also this is a lot of what you've built your ideas or thoughts around Alex Verdugo were him being a young player, and we've talked about him being an emotional guy. He's kind of become one of the vibe guys on the team. That I don't know. He's on paternity leave right now. Like he's more of an adult than the Alex Verdugo you may have gotten yourself acquainted with when he first came over to the Red Sox. And I think his baseball skills are translating more than that.
I think he enjoys amongst the team and is able to take just such pride in what he's good at, which I think he always been good at, of just bat to ball.
Yeah.
I don't know those Red Sox teams if he felt the need to be a masher or power hitter or anything. But I think when you see Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, there's some security and fun to being like, I get to just do me.
Keep it going.
Beebs, can you share my screen? Is that set up? Because I found out what I was searching for was somewhat simple to find.
Okay.
And the results may make you shed a tear.
Yours aren't coming up.
Mother effer.
Oh.
Anyway, Judge in center field. Oh, it was a loose cord.
Loose cord?
It was a loose cord.
Gotta have it. Come on. Please. No,
doesn't seem good.
I got nothing.
Damn.
Okay, well, it'll be a verbal payoff.
Okay.
Last year, played center field. He stood 322 feet from home plate.
Okay.
And at a 0-degree angle. So just straight on. Dead center.
Put me in, coach.
I'm there. This year, on average, 320 feet. 2 feet closer.
Okay.
Maybe Cunningham changed the spot on the grass and he doesn't even realize. 1 degree to right field. Helping Soto out. I was all over it.
Wow.
Verdugo's got that other degree covered.
Okay.
He's given Verdugo 1 degree. That's not actually anything, but I think it's hilarious.
But
I think it's hilarious that it is that.
maybe it is.
You know what? What if his outs above average says going to your right? In 2023 at center field, he was towards first base, he was +1. Towards third, he was 0. And in 2024, we just swapped him. So now he's better going to the left because Verdugo helps him out. Nothing there, but the data exists.
Small sample. There's data.
1 degree.
1 degree.
How many feet do you think that is, honestly? Because it could be
we could probably figure this out, right? Because
it could be
foul lines.
I'll tell you this: when Judge played left field, he stood -26 degrees, and when he plays right field, he stood 26 degrees. So whatever that is, the feet. If that helps anyone out there that knows math, is 1 degree.
Someone that really helped out.
Is it 5 feet? Can't be that many feet. Is it 2 feet? 1 degree towards Soto.
I would throw out a 3-foot guess.
What's the angle on a baseball field?
Right. Big time.
Angle of a baseball diamond is, Beebs, do you know?
I would guess 90 degrees, like home.
No, that would be too tight, right? 45 degrees. I mean, that would be too wide.
Yeah, 90 is like a corner.
Yeah.
It's
45 degrees.
Yeah.
Aerial view of a Major League Baseball field with infield at the bottom and outfield at the top. The bases are laid out in a square, rotated in 45 degrees.
Okay.
So someone's got to be able to use this info and let us know what's 1 degree in feet at 320 from home plate. That's math. That's real math.
There was a time when I think all of us could have answered that.
Yeah, if someone in high school is listening, they got us. I mean, I slack Sam right now and ask for a compass. I'll figure it out. You got to scale it down.
Was that geometry?
Someone in 10th grade or younger.
Who thinks our best shot
has
in the office?
done this math already since we started talking about it.
Who thinks our best geometrist? Joe's knows math.
Yeah, but I don't know about geometry. Lucas DeVersa, Noah.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Comment section, let us know. How many more feet is Jed shading towards Soto? It's 1 degree. At 320 feet.
This is nothing.
Nothing.
You're not even hearing this. In theory, we could be a month away from Jasson, Soto, Judge, Verdugo.
I don't know how they deal with it. They need an injury or Stanton platoons with Verdugo.
Maybe next episode you tell people about the Stanton to third base thing you've been telling people about.
Nada.
Technically,
Aaron Boyd.
Still a small sample. Maybe it changes by then. But technically, Stanton's mashing righties this year, and lefties are eating them.
On Jimmy's 3 Things on the Talking Baseball channel today, I found out that when Stanton leads off an inning, he has a 360 on base percentage, 0 walks. 31 plate appearances, 0 walks, but he's got the best of all players that aren't leadoff hitters that have 30 plate appearances, leading off an inning in the 2nd, 3rd through 9th, that have 0 walks. Stan has the best on base percentage.
Not bad.
12 hits.
Wasn't there a commenter the other day that said try Dominguez at second? That's the good stuff.
Past him.
That would look like Finding Nemo.
That's the good stuff.
A lot of Spencer Jones at first, people.
I have him doing a lot of twirls.
Oh, Spencer Jones in 11 games hitting at AA. So
What's he hitting?
He's really
baseball.
hitting.
You don't know, like homers?
It's like a 999 OPS. It's 11 games. He got
11 games, 348, 412, 587, which
Is
yes is a
Spencer Jones pitches a
999 OPS.
perfect minor league year this year.
His
That's
strikeout
great.
rate's lower than at any point
That
last
means
year.
Soto
walking a
gets
little more.
paid because you got Dominguez making league minimum. You got Spencer Jones making league minimum. You got Peraza at second making league minimum. You got Wells making not a lot of money behind the dish. You got DJ moving over to first base for Rizzo, and that's a cash cow right there. And Rizzo
Luis
not
Heel.
returning. Luis Heel. Oh,
Clayton Beesting.
I have something for you. I was talking in an honest conversation about the Yankees playoff picture, and I was like, well, right. I don't think they can make it. They'd have no bullpen to make a deep run.
Right.
Their pitching's been great, but like they need a lot of help. I think that with good moves and blah, 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 they're there. They're a good playoff team. And then I thought, I always say I like when you take a starter and go to the pen, and we have good starters right now. I said, ooh, I actually think Heel going to the pen. That was the first I was like, oh, I like that. Because all the other, well, you know, Canley's going to come back and Efros, that does nothing for me right now. Right. But if Heel can be like a 2-inning guy out of the pen, but the innings limit's there, it was the first little like uptick I got and like, ooh, that's actually potential.
I feel like I've been
Welcome to the season.
Trying to talk about that.
Heel to the pen?
Yeah.
I haven't heard you talk about that.
Yeah. That's been
it's been like
with
his
the
whole
pitch limit
report
and with the velo and the strikeout stuff. Because he's not going to make it the whole year.
Yeah, I guess I maybe when you talk about this thing about regular season, but I'm just specifically playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only other concern there is he's what? So you're going to have a young pitcher.
And he's a little bit of a melter
potentially
right
coming
now,
out
but
of
I'm not
the
going to pin that on him.
Yeah, and
He'll have learned from that by September.
I think the other potential cherry in the cap. Jesus Christ.
Cherry in the cap. I heard a lot of fodder. I can understand that. Well, I don't even know what you're going for. Cherry on top.
Feather.
Cherry on top, like a feather in his cap. That's
fucking nothing.
Just stuff cherries in your hat.
That's a bad one.
That's fucking nothing.
Cherry in his cap. Is that what you said? Cherry in his hat.
The 19 Nationals didn't have a bullpen, and they had two guys figure it out with Corbin, and it came together. The Texas Rangers last year came in with one of the most.
You can throw long men.
Even the Braves before they came in.
No, it can be done.
The bullpen being the weakness right now, we can.
No, but you can trade for the big. You need to trade for a big gun somewhere,
Get a reliever.
and then you can get starters can go there and all that shit.
Heel can pop. Someone can pop.
Jared Weaver.
Somebody will be just in the groove by then.
Jared Weaver.
He can pop.
He's gross.
He was so gross. I loved watching him pitch. All right, go Yanks. Tell him, Grams.
Go Yankees.
Would you rather be Jared Weaver, 34.5 career WAR, 3-time All-Star, Jeff Weaver, 15 WAR, World Series winner?
Did he participate in that World Series? Or was that the Yankees and he was bad, or was it Angels?
St. Louis. He had 2 good World Series starts.
Then I'd rather be him.